playing the promotional video first, Prabhu, to start with.
Okay.
Residents of East Bengaluru, hear this out. In 10 locations near you, Shri Krishna Janmashtami 2024 will be celebrated by ISKCON Whitefield. Over 1 lakh devotees attended last year and more are expected this year. Over 10,000 people donated for the Archana, Annadan and other sevas. Over 3,000 kids participated in different kids competitions. Over 100 cultural performances took place. Shri Radha Krishna's Abhishekam was performed in all these locations with grand success. Over 1,000 bhoga preparations were cooked by the devotees and offered to the Lord. All the devotees were served delicious Krishna Prasadam and they also took part in many other activities. So what are you waiting for? 26th August 2024. Save the date and join us for Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahotsav 2024. There will be a lot of kirtans, stage performances, archana, abhishekam, delicious heart-purifying prasadam, many fun activities and much more. Don't forget to click the link or scan the QR code to book your seva to avoid last-minute rush. Nand ke ghar anand bhayo, Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's beautiful session of Krishna Ratri series. So hope you all are enjoying the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan, Lord Krishna, his beautiful cowherd boys and all his friends. So let's do a quick recap of what we heard yesterday. So yesterday what we heard from Prabhuji was about how Lord Balram killed the demon Pralambasur. So basically how it starts is like all the friends, they're enjoying in the beautiful forest of Vrindavan. And we see how beautiful Vrindavan has been described, right? All the beautiful lotus flowers are blooming and we see the waterfall and beautiful waves from Yamuna rivers, coming around, and all the cowherd boys and Krishna and Balram, they're playing together. And then suddenly a cowherd boy comes and he comes as a demon. And that demon is none other than Pralambasur. Okay, he's disguised as a demon, but he is in a cowherd boy roop. So all the friends, they think, oh, he's our friend only. But Krishna and Balram, being, the supreme, the Lord, they know that who he is. So next what happens is the demon thinks that, oh, Krishna is the strongest. So it won't be a good idea to kill Krishna. So he chooses Balram. But he has no idea that even Balram is the most powerful. So later on, he tries to kill Balram. But as you all know, Balram is Lord himself. So later on, Balram kills Pralambasur. Okay, and what do we learn from this pastime is there are 3 lessons that Prabhuji mentioned yesterday. So it is like the demon Balram, it signifies the lusty desires within us. So it represents the lusty desires that we want to enjoy in our hearts. So they come in disguise of a friend, just like, the demon Pralambasur came in disguise of a coward boy. And they promise us that it will give us pleasure, but they don't. They kidnap us and they take us away from Lord Krishna. So this was the first lesson, that is lusty desires, it kidnaps us. And the second lesson that we learn is we should follow our spiritual master. So as you all know that Lord Balram is the origin of Guru Tattva, and he personally killed Pralambasur, indicating that these desire can be killed when we follow the instructions of spiritual master sincerely. So that's the second lesson, that is follow the spiritual master sincerely. And third and last lesson that we learned was we should take shelter of Lord Krishna. So how we should take shelter of Lord Krishna is by begging and praying for Krishna's mercy to remove these demoniac qualities or anarthas from our hearts, which are represented by this demon Pralambasur. So that was what we heard yesterday. And today we'll be hearing yet another beautiful pastime by Savrish Prabhuji. So before we move on to the pastime, I would quickly like to introduce today's speaker. So we have with us today Savrish Prabhuji. Savrish Prabhuji is serving in Sarjapur congregation, and actually Prabhuji and Mataji are the head of Sarjapur congregation, and they are involved in many managerial activities and in various preaching activities and other services. In the material front, Prabhuji is working in sales field, and he is currently working as a IT sales manager with Jumio Incorporation, and Prabhuji holds an MBA degree from Sutherland University. They have a kid, 10-year-old son named Prahlad, very sweet boy, and the whole family is practicing Krishna consciousness from past 5 years. So we are very fortunate to have your association today, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So let's welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mataji. So before we start, we'll start with a short Mangalacharan. Namam Vishnupadhaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshacharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktabinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let me just share my screen. Mataji, are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm happy to see all of you joining the Krishna Ratri series from the past 18 days. So we are trying to build a consciousness, ready a consciousness for Janmashtami. And what best, there is no other way than listening to Krishna Katha on a daily basis. So thank you all for coming on a regular basis and listening to Krishna Katha. So today's Katha that we're going to talk about is Devouring the Forest Fire, right? So if you see, the story starts with the end of another story. Yesterday, Kunjesha Prabhuji actually spoke about the magical shape-shifting demon called Pralambasur, right? He made himself look like one of Krishna's friends, and he started playing with Krishna and his coward boys. And there was this game that happened, and the loser of the game had to carry the winners on the back, right? So Pralambasur's team lost, and Pralambasur had to carry Balram. And you know what happened later on. At a stage, Balram actually killed Pralambasur, right? And this is right after that. There is a continuation. If you see, in a normal world, if there is a calamity that happens, I think 15 years ago we had a big calamity that happened. There was a terrorist attack in Mumbai. Most of you would have known. It was huge news, right? And I know about it because I was stuck in the airport at that particular time. And at that moment, when this terrorist attacked the innocent civilians and killed all of them, there was so much curfew, right? People were in shock. There were ambulances, there was police officers all around, and people were in shock for not just weeks, for months together, right? But what happens in Krishna Katha, if you see, if there is a calamity, because Kamsa keeps on sending demons on a regular basis, right? Pralambasur is dead. And next, they have another calamity that is coming up. But if you see, the coward boys, they have so much, they are not worried about this at all. Do you know why? Because they have trust in Krishna, right? There is trust in Krishna, and that's the reason. Now, if you see, this begins where the coward boys were actually playing with Krishna, right? They were playing with Krishna, and they had these cows that were grazing, and they got so engrossed in playing. And what happened? They forgot to actually look after the cows. And the cows were lured by the green long grass, right? Trinalobhena graham, they say in Srimad Bhagavatam. It was lured by the green grass, right? In fact, the cows were actually full. They had eaten. Their stomach was full. But still, it was the greed that got them to eat the grass. Now, if you see, if I had good lunch today, right? I had my stomach full. And someone offers, everyone knows crackjack biscuit, right? And someone offers me a crackjack biscuit, right? Prabhuji, why don't you have crackjack biscuit? So my stomach is full, but I still have the crackjack biscuit, right? And crackjack biscuit is something that you have one, you feel like having another one, right? And you keep on having, right? So here we understand the stomach is full, but the mind wants more. The mind wants the biscuit, right? So mental hunger is a serious problem. So we have to understand, when we grow from need to greed, we will actually bleed, right? So there are various examples. If you see, there is a line in Srimad Bhagavatam where it says, "Go duracharine," right? Go duracharine means go actually means cow. Go also means earth. Go also means senses. So in this go duracharine means the cows went far to graze, and that's just because of greed, right? So similarly, what happens is our go, which also means senses, also takes us away from our spiritual journey, right? And we should be very careful. As devotees, it's very important for us to stick together, or else our senses can easily take us away from the spiritual journey. So it's very important. Now, if you see, since they were not observing the cows, they actually entered the forest called Ichikatava forest, right? And then they realized that the cows were actually missing. Because they were too engrossed in their play, right? And then later on they were so repentant, because as coward boys, their job is to actually look after the cows. It's natural, right? Herd the cows. That's why they were called coward boys. And their only job, they failed in that, right? So they were very repentant. Just like schools, right? Just like in schools, we send our kids. What is the motto? But the reason why we send our kids? To study, right? To college, to graduate. But what happens is the kids actually are more interested in extracurricular activities, right? So they get into too many activities, extracurricular activities, and some of them actually forget the path, right? Forget the goal, which is actually graduate. To join a college, the motto is to actually graduate, right? But we are so busy in extracurricular activities, we forget that, right? Just like jivas like us, our main duty is what? To graduate from this world. Go from Bhuloka to Goloka. That is our main duty. But we are all entangled in extracurricular activities that is around us, right? Just like the cows, go duracharine, right? So then we can take, there is no problem in taking part in extracurricular activities if it is sanctioned or sanctified. And if that is the case, then certainly we can. Like, for example, if a child is playing in the house and the child develops a desire to actually play in the beach, right? And the parents say playing in the house is safer, but the child has a desire to actually play in the beach. So parents say, okay, fine, you can play in the beach, but no getting into the water, right? So here the parents can the child playing in the house is actually prescribed duty, right? And the child the child going out of the house, that is going to the beach and playing, is called desired activities, right? And getting into the water is actually prohibited activity. So it's like a zone. So white zone, there is gray zone, and there is black zone, right? Ideally, we are safe if we are in the white zone, that is playing in the house. But certainly we have some desires, right? And that's when we actually step into gray zone. And when the desires, actually, we get too attached to it, then we go into the black zone, right? So similarly here, the cowherd boys got so engrossed in the play and they forgot to take care of the cows at all, right? Now the cows are actually they see the fire blazing and moving towards them. They are trapped. They were crying. This is like our story. We are entangled in a material life that is tough for us to get out. They cry calling out to Krishna and their cowherd boys. The crying is compared to the way we cry in the material world. But for us, if you see, fortunately, our crying can be transformed into a spiritual cry as well. When actually our guru gives the Maha Mantra, right? That the fire that we are talking about is actually in material world is compared to the fire, or compared to Samsara Sagar, right? You know Samsara Sagar, right? It's the deep ocean we talk about. Now we can't cross the deep ocean. We can't swim. We will get tired. We will sink, right? So we are just like the cows that turned away from Krishna, and we are trapped in this material world. Now you may ask the question, like, just like how the cow entered, they can also return the same way, right? How they enter, they can return the same way. But you know the reason why they can't do that? Because they are too attached to the grass. I'm sure everyone knows this wonderful story about Lord Indra, right? Who's the king of heaven. Now Lord Indra, he committed some grievous crime, and he was, as a result, he was cursed by Narad Muni to take birth on this earthly planet as a pig, hog. So Indra became a hog and started living on the earth. And in due course of time, he got married and he had dozens of piglets, right? He became leader of the pig clan, right? He was a big leader. And seeing his friends, family, all give him a lot of pleasure, right? As time passed by, the curse was getting to an end, but to their amazement, Indra is not coming back at all, right? You can't keep the chairs of the heaven empty. The king has to come back, but Indra is not coming back at all. So everyone requested Narad Muni to actually go and call Indra. So finally, Narad Muni personally decided to come and take Indra back. Now Indra was enjoying his hog life, right? Playing with his wife, with the piglets, eating stool. So he was enjoying. Narada actually felt too bad for the king of heaven, right? He immediately approached Indra, and he told, right? He reminded him of his designation. But Indra was not impressed at all. He argued with Narada. He said that I have my friends, I have my family members. You can see my wife, you can see my cute piglets. How do you think they're all dependent on me? How can I leave them and come? Right? So if I leave them, who will care for them? Right? So this is the same thing that has happened to the cows in the story here, right? This illusory material energy, this is too powerful. It forces us to believe that the life which we are leading right now is permanent and more enjoyable than anything else. Krishna says, Dukhalayam, this is Dukhalayam, right? Full of miseries. And there is Vaikunta, where there is no miseries. But we are stuck in this material illusory energy, and that we feel this is more enjoyable because we don't have the experience of that enjoyment. And we feel this is what the ultimate goal of life is. right? Uh, uh, in this world also we develop so many attachments, if you see, to the material life. Then the guru comes, gives us the Mahamantra, purifies us, elevates our consciousness, and that's how they help us. Now, if you uh, if you see here, actually the boys actually looking, Krishna and the boys are actually looking at the cows, and they traced the cows by their footprints, they traced by hoof prints, and following the path of the eaten grass. They followed, they were very intelligent. They looked at the eaten grass path, and that's how they actually got to know where the cows had actually gone. So within the forest, finally they found the valuable cows who had lost their way and were crying. The boys were very thirsty, they were tired, they were crying. Then they were actually looking at Krishna. The Krishna spoke to them and gave them some hope. Sometimes Krishna calls in the form by the way of flute, playing the flute, or even calls while speaking also, right? So if you are regularly practicing Krishna consciousness for a long time, a certain stage comes where you're actually cleansing your anarthas, right? And when that happens, after the cleansing of anarthas, there is a level of confidence that comes within you, right? And that is very important, because that's when you understand that Krishna has started reciprocating. We may not see Krishna eye to eye, but we see Krishna's hand in everything, right? And that happens after Anartha Nivritti stage, which is a very shaky stage. But then once you actually cross that, then you get to a stage called Nishtha. And that's where you actually gain a lot of confidence. Now, the fire was actually spreading. Now, here we are talking about the fire was actually spreading, and it was going to engulf everyone, right? The cows were happy that they actually saw Krishna and runs back to them. They all took shelter of Krishna. Krishnascha balam prapanam, right? That is the word, that is the verse that is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And one now the coward boys are also very scared. The one may ask, coward boys, why are they scared of dying, right? Now, the reason why coward boys were scared to die is because they wanted to live to serve Krishna, right? They were always thinking that if we are not with Krishna, who will look after him? He will be sad. He will cry, right? So having a desire is good if the goal is actually to serve Krishna, right? Now here the Krishna sees the here the Krishna actually sees the fire and the fiery demon. As Krishna tells them, actually, don't worry. Now you just close your eyes and don't fear. Ma bhishta, he says, don't fear at all, right? And if you see, if someone tells us the same thing, close your eyes and don't worry. If you're stuck in a fire, what will happen? Somehow we'll open our one eye and we see what is really happening, right? What if the fire comes from left? What if the fire comes from back, right? But coward boys had complete faith and trust in Krishna. When he said, close your eyes and don't worry, right? Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what he did? Swallowed up all the flames of the fire. And the cows and the boys were thus saved from the danger. Now, because they were scared and because they were tired, they were actually unconscious. And when they opened their eyes, they were actually back in the Bhandira forest, right? Now they were astonished to see the complete fire completely free from the attack of the blazing fire, and that the cows were saved. They secretly thought that because they have so much love for Krishna, right? They secretly thought that Krishna must be some kind of devta or demigod, right? So they never knew that they never wanted to believe that the Krishna was Supreme Personality of Godhead. It was because of excess of love that they thought that Krishna had powers, right? And he must be a demigod or a devta. Now, and then at that particular, he engulfed the fire, he saved the coward boys, he saved the cows. Then in the evening, Krishna, Balram, and the coward boys went back with the cows, returned back to Vrindavana, playing the flute. As they approached the village, all the gopis were so joyous. Here, I think I put a wrong slide, but they were very joyous. But they were, in fact, one of the reason I put up this slide is because um, as they approach, right, they have to understand, gopis used to think of Krishna every time. So as he was in the forest, right, in his absence, for them it was one moment was like 12 years, right? And that is the separation that gopis had for Krishna. And once they were back, everyone was happy to have Krishna and the covered boys, Krishna Balram and the covered boys. And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak about this Krishna Katha. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the beautiful narration. So we see how dear Lord Krishna is to all his friends, and they have immense faith in Lord Krishna that, there is such a huge fire, and Krishna is saying, close your eyes, I will take care. So that's wonderful and very nice narration, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. We all enjoyed a lot. So let's thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So thank you so much, everyone. Like we all know, Janmashtami is coming, and we really hope that you all have registered for some or the other seva. Like we know, we are celebrating Janmashtami. ISKCON Whitefield is organizing Janmashtami at 10 different locations. So whichever location is close to your area, please go visit, and you can definitely register for some or the other sevas, and do call and invite your friends, neighbors, family members, everyone. So we see, like last year, we had so many different activities. Like we had the Abhishekam, beautiful Abhishekam of Shri Radha and Krishna, and we see so many, devotees gathering, and we are having wonderful kirtan and bhoga offering, and beautiful cultural. So please don't miss this opportunity. Do go and visit Krishna Janmashtami at your nearest venue. So thank you, everyone. And just like every day we do, I would like to tell the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like all these pastimes have been taken from Krishna book, and Krishna book is part of Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So like you've been relishing listening to all these wonderful pastimes, you can go back and read all these pastimes all again if you have Srimad Bhagavatam with you. So as we know that the Ganga river is the greatest of all the rivers, and Lord Achyuta, he is the supreme of all the deities, and Lord Shambhu, that is Lord Shiva, he is the greatest of all the Vaishnavas. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all the Puranas, and anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and who properly hears and chants it with devotion becomes completely liberated and receives the pure love of Godhead. And what else do we need here? We need pure love of Godhead. So that's what we are aspiring for. So what are you guys waiting for? If you're not having Srimad Bhagavatam, please go get your copy. You can order online as well. So yesterday we shared one poster. I can share that again too. So in the meanwhile, we can just share the link for the quiz. So we have the quiz.
Shared Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we have the quiz link shared, and you can attempt the quiz, and whoever is the fastest will win the quiz. And yesterday's winner is again Roli Mataji. So congratulations so much, Roli Mataji. So you can attempt the quiz now. Meanwhile, I have also shared the discounted rates and different languages in which we have Srimad Bhagavatam available. So this discount will be valid till 18 September, and you can order it online from gogita.in. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining, and see you tomorrow again for yet another beautiful pastime from Krishna book. Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.